You know, it's too bad my phone camera can't pick up the way the moon looks tonight. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Oh, and by the way, viewers, I'm gonna put emphasis on the GPW. Well, I've got my channel banner, right? It says Westclox and more. Emphasis on Westclox and more.
Talk tick, talk tick, talk tick.
Well, now it's almost 12 o'clock and I'm here in the studio. Should I stay or go back home? I don't know what to do. One thing that I know for sure, that girl and I are through. Still hearing tick-tock, tick, tick-tock, tick-tock, tick, tick-tock, tick-tock, tick, tick-tock, tick.
Talk tick, talk tick, talk tick.
Tick-tock.
Well, hello again, guys. It's Gregola Productions here once again, back again with another episode of the GPWS. Don't worry, you wouldn't go completely clockless. Today we got this. Now, I've had this set up in this room here for a while now, but I haven't gotten a chance to shoot a video on it. I remember Time for Clocks was doing a video, I think it was a month ago. He was doing a video on some of the later clocks he had. Well, here's one of the later clocks I've got. It's a 1983 Pearl grandfather clock. No, I did not buy this, I inherited it. And here it is now. So it's kind of a strange clock. These Pearl grandfather clocks are kind of something else. They don't seem to be terribly common. And I have no idea who made the movement for this. As you can see, it says made in USA, and then it says Pearl up here. Apparently the company was owned by a guy named Jim Pearl. Looking at the clock from the outside, you got your 3 weights, pendulum, you got your moon dial, which I have no idea how to set. I looked it up, but I think I did it wrong because I don't know if that's a full moon or what you'd call that. Anyways, point is, I don't think that's set quite right. How many chime options have we got here? You got the Westminster, St. Michael, Whittingham. I think it's Whittingham. Is it Whittingham? I have no idea on that one. And then there's silence. So you got 3 different options of chimes here, and we've got we've got it set to Westminster because that's the way it was always set at my grandmother's house. I don't know. Does anyone have any good ideas for removing tape off of brass weights? This was not my doing. I'm not going to explain how this happened, but it was a very botchy moving job by people who really had no idea what they were doing when it comes to these clocks. And yes, when they say weight, or when they're called weights, they really are weights. I didn't realize how heavy they'd actually be. This is the only clock I've ever really had to actually do anything on. But yeah, they are heavy. They've got weight to them for sure. One thing that completely took me by surprise was the fact that this thing has adjustable feet on the bottom. Now, when I first had to move this clock, I saw them and I was like, oh, I didn't. Oh. Isn't that nice, viewers? You know, I've been talking this whole time, but the clock wanted to get a few words in as well. Anyways, I didn't really process what the adjustable feet really were for. And I heard my parents talking a bit about this clock, and they said, oh yeah, you gotta level it. And I was like, well, I don't really understand I didn't understand what they were talking about until we stood this thing up in this corner, and we put the pendulum and weights on, and suddenly the pendulum is banging up against the case, I believe. It was too far back. The clock was like leaning backwards, so that wasn't any good. So we took the weights and pendulum out and tried again. And as for someone who's done this, I know there's people who probably have done this 1,000 times, but what do I recommend you use to get this whole leveling process done? Well, first of all, you need a level, and second of all, you need a second person who can hold the clock as you adjust the feet. So they kind of tip it. I believe, yeah, it was being tipped forward, and I had the level in there, right in here. And just by a total fluke, it just happened to get exactly, and let's just see how level this floor is. Oh, we're not doing too bad. It's a little bit off. Anyways, somehow, I don't know, it was being pulled forward or it was being leaned forward. And the bubble just happened to go dead center at some point. So I told my brother to stop, because that's who was helping me. I told him to stop moving the clock, and I screwed the feet on, screwed them on, and away we went. And I think it ran for 15 minutes or something, and, and then it stopped. I believe that was the, I can't quite remember how that whole thing was done, because I know we had to adjust it twice. I don't think it was quite level the first time. So I don't know if the earlier grandfather clocks have adjustable feet on them, but these ones from the 1980s probably all do. 1980s is right. Hey, look at the gold on the dial. That is probably the most 80s looking. Well, I don't know if it's clock styles are weird that way, because like they've looked almost the same past like 1964 almost. They've looked all the same. They got rid of the big kind of blocky base, and then the slim almost what would you call it? I guess the body, and then the wider head section, which has a hood, which this technically doesn't have a hood because this is all one big piece of wood. So yeah, they've done away with all that in the 80s, and they've just gone with this, which, I mean, this isn't a terrible design either, but it definitely looks its age, I think. So viewers, when do we start the disassembly? Well, we're not quite gonna do that. That's a little, this clock is a little bit out of my range of, how should I put it? It's, I don't have the skill set to work on something like this quite yet. But hey, at least it got started. I'm pretty sure the last time it was serviced was like 2013, I think. So it's been a good few years now. I believe generally they expect 15 years out of a clock like this. So I don't know, we'll see how well it runs. I hope I don't kill all the bushings, if you know what I mean. Wear them all down by continually running this thing. But I think we'll be okay, and then again, worst case scenario, you get it rebushed, you know. I mean, it's such a common thing. Especially for, well, if anyone's fixing one of these, or if anyone's having a professional clock repair business, they're most certainly equipped to work on a clock like this and rebush it. Am I equipped for such a task? Not quite. Speaking of the moon dial, I actually have no idea how to set it. I looked it up, but I'm pretty sure I did it wrong, and now it doesn't line up with that, so what good is this? It's funny how that was a carryover from like the 1870s, or I think it was more 1700s. I believe that was a carryover from that era. And as you can see, we've got the door open, nice key here, and a very high quality looking lock. That's pretty decent right there. Oh yeah, and by the way, something's up with the chime rods in this thing. Very easy to, how should I put, you kind of, well, I guess it's not doing it right now. Oh, 10 minutes till 9. Oh, we'll get some striking action. You see, it's very, we got a lot of that going on. You kind of move this, or move anything around this at all, or you kind of almost walk in here and it starts vibrating. I don't know, maybe, are these chime rods loose? I'm really not sure. That's not the main problem with these though. Sound to escape, we've got these grills that just slide up, slide down, and then you can slide them out of here. Oh, how does this come out? I'm gonna drop this thing inside the cabinet, aren't I? I think I was doing this so smooth before. Okay, I've got it in. Okay, they slide up, and you can get them out like that. It comes out somehow. We look inside the movement here. We don't see any, well, we can see the moon dial. Well, I guess we're not looking inside the moon, we're looking inside the hood. Let's see the escapement wheel here moving. Where is it? There's the pendulum, I'm getting lost in here. There's the pendulum rod, it should be up here somewhere. Oh, where is it? Oh, there it is. Oh, we're seeing that's not it. Oh, you can see movement, but you can't see it. Let me try and, let me just, or maybe I shouldn't seal this up. Let me try and get in from the other side. A sinner am I, I've taken both grills out. Okay, let's see what's cooking in here. We've got our pendulum roll. Oh, we still can't see the escapement wheel, sadly. Or maybe you can. Anyways, looking in here, we can see that this is, well, it was said by Time for Clocks, and I showed him this tag. He thinks this is a Hermley movement. And I'd totally believe that, but the problem is, why would Hermley bother to... Hopefully I don't drop my phone in here. Why would they bother to not advertise themselves at all in this movement? Of course, I haven't serviced the thing, but you don't see any sort of Hermley advertising. You see Pearl, you get to see Pearl right there, but you don't see anything for Hermley. So what's with that? I don't know what's going on there, viewers. There's the chime rods. Let's look up inside here. Yeah, as you can see, there's plywood going on back here. Viewers, these are the, these are the striking, there we go. Okay. So what you just heard was our problem. The striking hammers, maybe the pads on the ends of them are completely toasted. This thing doesn't sound quite right when it's striking, which is something that, well, I remember this happened, this started happening when it was still in its original location, but I had no idea what was wrong with this clock. Exactly 1 minute till 9. So let's see what we can see in here, viewers. This is the, well, this is the strike side, and the chiming, well, yeah, this chiming side's on the other side of these chime rods here. My personal guess as to what's wrong with it is the pads on the ends of the hammers are kaput. I mean, this is a 20-year-old clock with a little piece of leather or rubber or whatever. I don't know what they're made out of precisely. Anyways, I think they went kaput because if rubber grommets from the 1950s are kaput on little portable record players, then I don't know why these wouldn't be finished either. What a great sounding tick, hey viewers? Well, it took a solid 2 seconds for anyone to figure that that doesn't sound right. This sounds like some sort of Halloween prop clock or something. It sounds like a haunted clock going on there. That wasn't right. So anyway, viewers, I don't know what's with that, why that is, other than my theory, of course. But I could be wrong, and I want all your guys' input on what's going on there. To put these back on, I believe we just slide them. How does this work again? I go in, how does this? We don't want to get too far in. Oh, how did I do this? I had this down for the longest time. Oh, here we go. Not quite. I think you have to slide it down and then slide it up, and then there it's in. Is that a crack? Man, what great wood this is. Anyways, viewers, fine clocks like this one are still being made by manufacturers like Howard Miller and Ridgway. Although the the quote-unquote problem with all of these is the fact that they've got Swiss movements in them. Yes, sir. The cabinets are made in the United States, and well, really, from what I'm getting out of this whole late clocks or post 1967 clock industry was, or actually more like post 1965, 1966. Everyone was just panicking because the Swiss imports were coming into the United States and Canada. Everyone was losing their mind. So everyone all merged together or shut down because no one could stay in business thanks to quartz clocks and Swiss. Wait, no, the quartz came later. Anyway, it was the imports that shut everybody down. And then you got companies like this where they're just a cabinet maker. Pearl has made the cabinet, but apparently this movement is Hermle. I personally do not believe that Pearl had the resources to build clock movements. I believe they made the cabinet, but not the movement. Even though there's no real proof of that, I don't know, we'll see what the comments generate. There might be a part 2 to this video, or if there isn't, check in the comments, viewers. There might be some interesting discussions going on down there. So anyways, viewers, here's a tag on the back of the clock that looks somewhat worse for wear. And as you can see at the bottom right, there's a date code that says 08/83. That's obviously a date code. I don't know what else that'd be. As for the rest of those numbers, I have no idea. So here's a better look at that little space there that has the Pearl name on it, and I believe there's dimensions there as well, or I don't know what that's all about. I don't know. Anyways, the movement is stamped with an 83. I can only assume that means 1983. Also, has anyone ever seen before a arbor with a C-clip on it in a clock movement? I've never seen that before. And as you can see by that C-clip, there's a whole bunch of scratches there. So to get that thing off and on, obviously it's been removed and put back on before. It's scratched up the plate, which I kind of find that funny. I'm not a fan of C-clips because they're so inconvenient to get off. And as you can see, someone else thought the same thing. Well, guys, that's my 1983 Pearl grandfather clock, which I'm very thankful to have, despite its young age. If anyone knows anything on any of the points brought up in this video, a comment would be greatly appreciated. Anyways, guys, we'll leave it there for now, and I'll do a part 2 on this if there are any further developments.